Over the next few classes, we're going to spend a little bit of time working through the respond principles from our gut self-defense syllabus. You should all have a copy of this book if you don't get in touch with me. There are general principles on page 21 about responding. There's a lot of theory in the front part of the book about avoiding situations, de-escalating, responding, and then recovering from those situations. But we're just going to focus on page 21. In page 21, the principles are separated into three parts: position, respond, and commit. And in this section, we're just going to practice the first three of those principles around your position. So I'll read them first. Use appropriate techniques for each range. So understand the different ranges and practice what is effective at each range. So when we do self-defense pad work, we're very much working on the correct range for the technique, rather than when we're doing pad work for first degree or for the boostable gradings, where we're moving in or moving out to get the right distance. We want to be at the distance where I am now. What's the appropriate attack for this distance? Secondly, about moving off the line. So try to flank your opponent by moving off the line of your attack. If you think about the attack being a bit of a direct line, how do you get around that line and get to the side, or in particular you want to aim for the rear of your opponent using your footwork. Third one is stay off the ground. You want to avoid being taken to the ground if you can. If you are taken to the ground, you've got to practice getting up safely and quickly. Couple of principles that will help, couple of things that will help you stay off the ground. Firstly, maintain your balance by keeping your legs bent. And secondly, keep your center of gravity between your feet. Quite often when people are practicing releasing techniques, you see people starting to do this sort of stuff. My center of gravity is completely broken here. I want to keep here and move my feet in to get to the right position so that I can do what I need to do with my hands with a good stance and my center of gravity between my feet. So now demonstrating those, I'll call my partner in for some help. My actual partner here, my wife. So she's standing up here so that you can see side on. The first one we talked about was using your footwork. Jeepers, I've got the second one in mind. Appropriate techniques for each range. Right, so from this range here, I'm in a good position to pop my side kick out. My rear leg, I'm too close for a front kick. From here, here's my position for a front kick, okay? But I'm too far away to punch. If I'm going to punch, I've got to come in closer. Here, this is my range for straight punches. A little closer for crescent punches. Closer again for elbows, upward punches. Okay, so you need to understand the ranges that you need to be in and be able to protect yourself at each of these ranges. Okay, from here. One of the principles we'll get to later is that we tend to adapt our kicks and keep them below the belt. So know the range that you need to be in and then cover that distance to get inside. So that's the first principle. The second principle is about moving off the line. So you think most attacks are in some way coming here. We'll get to the haymakers in a moment. If we start with a straight punch from here, I'm going to be this way. This is called an outside block in Taekwondo. So here, I'm now outside my opponent. If she punches with the other hand, so you can see, this is an inside block. Now the risk of an inside block is the other hand. I'm vulnerable to this hand. So I have to be very, very aware of that. From an outside block, punch with the right hand again. From here, one. I'm now outside and it's much harder for the opponent to attack me with the other hand. Notice my stance. My body weight's between my feet and I elongated my stance and shifted in. So it's very easy for me from this position to end up behind my opponent, where I can do lots of things to my opponent, but my opponent hasn't got so much they can do to me. Okay? So moving off the line. Now if the attack's a wild swing like a haymaker, if my hands are up, I may still end up slipping underneath the haymaker. Okay? So the same thing can happen. Or I can attack inside at the same, this way, and then come off the line of attack. Okay? So there's lots of ways we can get off that line of attack and try and flank the opponent. Okay? The last one was around using your footwork, and you'll have seen a little bit, if we just throw the same technique again, one or the other, it doesn't matter. From here, again about keeping my center of gravity between my feet, maintaining my stance, shifting both of my feet. Whatever I'm doing with my opponent, if I'm here, if I want my opponent here, I'm going to get him close to me. And I'm going to move in so that it's close. Wrist releases, for example, from here, I get in closer so that my elbow is tight. And then I can release off this way. Okay, so that I can use my entire mass for the release. I'm not trying to do this out here. and lean. It's a very weak position to be in. I'm here, getting my footwork moving in. Okay? Now we talked also, thank you, we talked about what to do if you fall to the ground. And practicing falling and getting up is very important. So from here, the biggest risk when I fall is my head smacking on the ground and getting knocked unconscious. So we're practicing, the back foot slips out, I cover my head, curl my core, and roll back a little bit to stop myself this way. Then I'm going to come up onto one hand and protect myself here. I've got this foot available to attack, and then as soon as my possibility is there, I drop this foot on the ground and push myself back to get up, depending on where the other opponents are, of course. So from here, I want to practice one, up, and from here if I need to step off because I've got an opponent behind me, I can step off this way, okay? Using my periphery to see my opponents. So practice this fall, practice both sides. From here, straight away. Notice that one hand up is always up for guarding. One, up. My hand is straight away there for guarding. I can kick, and then get myself back off the ground as quickly as possible. So they're the first three principles around positioning. So the first one was around knowing your range of attack, knowing your distance for the different movements, how much more range I get with my back foot than I get with my front, but of course it's slower to move. Getting in really close with my elbows. Don't try and do your elbows from a punching distance. They don't work, you've got to move your body in. The second one around moving off the line of attack. And the third one around staying off the ground, keeping your body weight between your feet and using your footwork to get around your opponent. Now, if you've got a partner at home you can work with, they just need to stand there. Maybe hold their hand out and you can practice your footwork moving around them. Getting up and falling down, you can practice that alone in your space. If you want to put a little mat down to make it a bit softer to fall on, feel free to do that. Maybe some cushions from your couch. Practice tucking that head, cover, and then straight back up again. Body weight between your feet. With a partner, you're just practicing moving around. You can also practice with a wall outside, not a nice jib wall like this, but maybe a concrete wall. You can practice your ranges, making sure that you know what range you're in for different movements. So work on the principles, practice that with a partner, with a clothes horse, with anything you can get standing beside you, with a washing line, with a wall for your ranges of attack. Practice those different things. Really feel yourself with your centre of gravity nice and strong. Use those stances we've been practicing for so long. Just move your body around, a bit of shadow boxing. Have something there to move around so you can feel that movement. 10 minutes on it, go!